There are women the world consumes like myth, and then there are women the world misunderstands. Carolyn Bessette-Kennedy lived in the space between those two fates, a woman whose name is brought up constantly, even 30 years after her death, only because of her chic, elegant style. However, no one seems to care enough to look deeper than her shallow fashion icon persona. Even though the media, fashion outlets, and social media is still obsessing over her timeless wardrobe, her personality and her life is often completely overlooked, making her look like a mannequin, merely an object to showcase clothes with nothing to say. With the new Hulu series releasing Love Story, John F. Kennedy Jr. and Carolyn Bessette, I hope to shed some light on a truly spectacular woman who, just like many others sharing the same fate, have both been scrutinized and overlooked by media simultaneously. Long before the cameras learned the angles of her face, she was a child in White Plains, born on January 7, 1966. Carolyn Jean Bessette, the daughter of William, an architectural engineer, and Anne, a teacher. After her parents' divorce when she was 8, she grew up in Greenwich, Connecticut, in a blended family with her sisters, Lisa and Lauren. She was just as captivating during her high school days as in her later years. She was voted by her classmates the ultimate beautiful person. After studying elementary education at Boston University, she moved to New York and entered the world of Calvin Klein. She climbed Calvin Klein's career ladder quickly, starting as a saleswoman and getting promoted to the brand director of publicity. She had an instinct for people, how they felt, how they wanted to be seen. For a time, she became a celebrity saleswoman, discreet and composed, moving easily between power and intimacy. It was there in 1992 that she had met John F. Kennedy Jr. Before having met JFK Jr., she dated a couple of men in the public eye, such as Calvin Klein model Michael Bergin. Even though she met JFK in 1992, they haven't started dating until 1994. Famously, she did not care for his fame and fortune. She was not impressed by his family's status or wealth, which is clearly resembled by the way she reacted to his marriage proposal. When he proposed in 1995, she simply said, "I'll think about it." It's a small sentence, but it contains her. Independent, self-possessed, unwilling to be swept up, even by American royalty. Eventually, she accepted his proposal, and they got married in 1996. Just like Princess Diana before her, Carolyn became prey to lenses that haunted emotion. She hated intrusive media attention, often finding it disorienting and overwhelming. After her wedding, constant stalking by the media and paparazzis have become even more intense. The parallels are impossible to ignore. Both women described by friends as warm, nurturing, and luminous in private. Both cast as distant, icy figures in public. Both reduced to silhouettes by a culture that prefers women as symbols rather than souls. Elizabeth Ballard, in Once Upon a Time, The Captivating Life of Carolyn Bessette-Kennedy, writes that Carolyn was more vulnerable to scrutiny than people realized. The tabloids of the 90s, shaped by sexism and sensationalism, flattened her into a caricature. The banshee, the ice queen, the fashion mannequin. This image of her has been even stronger established by the fact that she refused to give interviews. She didn't defend herself publicly. She didn't speak up against the allegations about her. But people who knew her remember her differently. In fact, many of her friends feel sad that she is remembered primarily as a style icon. They remember charisma, her authenticity, how she loved New York nights, loved conversation, loved being around people who were kind and funny. Ballard's research suggests she chose friends carefully. Humor mattered, generosity mattered. She was energetic, authentic, not afraid to speak her mind. A caretaker, someone who made others feel comfortable. Someone who read deeply and thought seriously. Based on accounts from friends and biographers, she was an avid reader with diverse interests, often engaging in long conversations about literature and current events. While she did not publicize a specific top 10 list, insights into her reading habits suggests that she was drawn to intellectual, highbrow topics, as well as fashion and cultural commentary. Even though she should also be remembered for her warmth, her kindness, generosity, for her wit, for her compassion, and most of all, for her great sense of fun. History clings to her outline. Personal struggles, including anxiety around fame and her place in the Kennedy world, marked much of her adult life, something biographers are now exploring more openly. Some later commentary suggests she may have battled depression and feelings of insecurity amid the pressures of celebrity life. Her refusal to give interviews deepened the mystery. Silence became projection. The less she said, the more they were invented. She was overshadowed by her marriage, overshadowed by her clothes, overshadowed even by comparisons to Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis, a mother-in-law she never met, yet was endlessly measured against. The scrutiny did not fade after the wedding. It intensified. Paparazzi followed her mercilessly. Reports suggest that the strain seeped into the marriage itself. At one point, they were said to be living in separate residencies. The pressure too constant, too loud. And so, she turned to clothes. Not as an ornament, but as armor. One of her favorite designers, Yohiji Yamamoto, once described a dress she wore as armor became emblematic. Fabric as shield, structure as protection. Her minimalism was never emptiness. It was control. It was refusal. In her own words in 1992, "I'm not comfortable with anything ornate. I like clean and understated looks. I love boots, jeans, blazers. I like very classic colors. Black, navy, grey and white. If I want to add some impact, I'll do it with texture." So she experimented with multiple of them. Silk, wool, denim, suede, a way of understated self-expression in a world which mercilessly analyzed her every move and decision. Her influence did not end with her life. The recent release of American Love Story, which revisits her relationship with John F. Kennedy Jr., proves how insistently she remains in the cultural imagination. Decades after her death, audiences still both return to her and try to replicate what she had already achieved 30 years ago. We live in a culture where aesthetics shape not only fashion, but identity. Trends are no longer seasonal, they are narratives. And again, the narrative circles back to her. Clean girl, quiet luxury, old money, 90s minimalism. All language attempting to describe something she embodied before it had a name. A lot of the pieces she gravitated toward are still everywhere now, not because they're trendy, but because they're timeless. Her neutral palette, ivory, camel, charcoal, black, the staple colors of a wardrobe the internet likes to call chic today. She loved structure, a perfectly cut blazer that made even her straight-leg jeans look intentional. No wonder exactly this style is being pushed by fashion houses today. A silk slip dress, understated, clean, feminine without being overly delicate. A long wool coat, of which she had multiple of. She used to call them rich girls' coats. Girls who get into cars, get out of them, go into restaurants, and go back into cars. Her shoes were rarely dramatic, often kitten heels, practical, elegant, easy to walk in, paired with knee-length pencil skirts that felt professional, but never stiff. Knee-high boots, barely showing any skin, yet still being so alluring. Flip-flops, which still define cool it girls nowadays, especially in spaces where the effortless style is always the goal. Smooth leather loafers in neutral colors, timeless but fitting all at the same time. Her accessories matched her understated, elegant silhouette. Tortoise-shell headbands holding back her golden hair, a Cartier tank watch, classic, discreet, functional, a Hermes Birkin carried without performance, Prada shoulder bag tucked under her arm. What stands out now isn't the luxury of these pieces, but the way she wore them. There was no performance, no obvious brands displayed, no need to prove anything. The clothes didn't overpower her, they supported her. None of it loud, none of it begging, everything deliberate. That's probably why her style keeps coming back. It feels so real. In a time where trends change weekly and everything designed to be photographed, her way of dressing feels almost grounding. It reminds people that style doesn't have to be loud to be powerful. There is no need to print logos on every piece. but her influence extends beyond wardrobes. In film and television, her essence appears as an archetype, the composed, intelligent woman moving through New York with quiet authority. Think of Natasha, Big's poised, understated wife in Sex and the City. The polished 1990s career woman, feminine, self-contained, elegant without the need to be seen. Control, but not cold. Ambitious, yet restrained. There is a trace of Carolyn in that silhouette, in the sleek hair, the minimal apartment, the quiet confidence. Designers still cite her, stylists still reference her. Pinterest boards and TikTok aesthetics attempt to reconstruct her, but what they are often reaching for is not just the clothing, it is the mood, kind of femininity that does not shout, a luxury that does not explain itself. In a time when visibility is currency, her refusal to perform feels almost radical. In a culture that overshares, she represents privacy. In a fashion world driven by excess, she represents curation. Yet, beneath the Cartier watch and the sleep dress was a woman far more complex than the mood boards suggest. Perhaps that is the paradox of her legacy. The world continues to recreate the exterior while still trying to understand the interior.